President Donald Trump, never one to shy away from controversy, once again took center stage on May 28 with remarks that ignited political firestorms across the country. Speaking during a White House event, Trump addressed the convictions stemming from the 2020 plot to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. When asked whether he would consider pardoning those convicted in the conspiracy, he responded with a familiar defiance, "I will take a look at it." This comment, though brief, spoke volumes. It signaled his intent to revisit one of the most chilling domestic terrorism cases in recent memory, a case that sent shockwaves through law enforcement agencies and political offices alike. But to Trump, the legal process looked suspicious. "I did watch the trial," he said. "It looked to me like somewhat of a railroad job." The plot, masterminded by members of an anti-government militia group known as the Wolverine Watchmen, unfolded during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. The men blamed Governor Whitmer for imposing lockdowns and restrictions. According to federal prosecutors, their solution was extreme: to kidnap her, transport her across state lines, and stage a political trial. In total, 14 men were charged. 9 were convicted or pleaded guilty on various federal and state charges. Barry Croft Jr., believed to be a key ringleader, received the harshest punishment, over 19 years in prison. Adam Fox, another central figure in the conspiracy, was sentenced to 16 years for kidnapping conspiracy and conspiring to use weapons of mass destruction. Trump's comments added a political twist to the case. "I'll be honest with you," he said. "It looked to me like some people said some stupid things. You know, they were drinking, and I think they said stupid things." This offhand dismissal painted a drastically different picture than the prosecution's portrayal of a violent, deliberate conspiracy to commit domestic terrorism. The question of entrapment has long haunted the case. Defense lawyers for Croft and Fox argued that federal agents and FBI informants had infiltrated the group, possibly egging on the plot. They claimed the entire operation was less about justice and more about political theater, designed to make an example out of dissidents. The case took another turn when Ed Martin, recently appointed as the Justice Department's pardon attorney under Trump's new administration, announced his own scrutiny of the convictions. "We can't leave these guys behind," Martin said in an interview with the Breanna Morello show. "In my opinion, these are victims just like January 6th. The term, Fed-Knapping, coined by online critics who believe the government orchestrated the plot as a sting operation, was echoed by Martin. This rhetoric aligns with the MAGA narrative that paints Trump supporters and anti-government groups as targets of political persecution. It's no surprise, then, that Trump continues to stoke this sentiment. On the first day of his second term, he issued blanket pardons for over 1,500 supporters convicted for their roles in the January 6 Capitol riot, an unprecedented move that drew both applause and outrage. Now, eyes turn to whether Trump will extend the same leniency to the Wolverine Watchmen. For supporters, this is about freedom, patriotism, and resisting what they see as government overreach. For critics, it's a terrifying endorsement of violent extremism. Governor Whitmer has not publicly responded to Trump's comments, but past statements show her deep concern over how political rhetoric has emboldened threats against public officials. "This was not just a plan to kidnap me," she said in 2021. "It was a plot to undermine our democracy." Trump's base sees the case differently. At rallies and online forums, memes and slogans portraying Croft and Fox as martyrs are gaining traction. The idea that these men were set up plays well in circles where trust in federal agencies is at an all-time low. Some legal scholars worry this direction could have grave consequences. "This isn't just about pardons," said Professor Anna Delgado of Georgetown Law. "This is about normalizing political violence, making it palatable, even heroic, to plot against elected officials." Others argue Trump is simply responding to what he sees as systemic bias within the justice system. "He's giving a voice to those who feel abandoned," said political analyst Mark Sayers. To many in his movement, this is about fighting the deep state. But beyond the politics, the human toll remains. Governor Whitmer and her family lived under constant threat during the height of the pandemic. The plot included surveillance of her home, talk of blowing up a bridge to slow police, and plans for armed conflict. Federal prosecutors spent months laying out the evidence: text messages, audio recordings, undercover footage. They painted a picture of calculated, extremist ideology. The jury believed them. Convictions followed. Sentences were long. Justice, in their view, was served. Trump's assessment, however, runs counter to that narrative. Some of it didn't add up, he said. It just looked like a setup. In Trump's world, the defendants were victims of a weaponized government, not perpetrators of domestic terrorism. His remarks also feed into the larger Republican strategy of undermining federal agencies. The FBI, long targeted by Trump, is once again being portrayed as a political actor rather than a law enforcement body. There's a pattern here, said journalist Rachel Maddow. Every time the FBI holds extremists accountable, Trump cries foul. The pardon debate also raises questions about presidential power. With a stroke of the pen, Trump could undo years of prosecution, dismantle carefully constructed cases, and free men labeled as threats to national security. Would he do it? History suggests yes. His clemency record includes allies like Roger Stone, Paul Manafort, and Michael Flynn, all convicted of federal crimes, all pardoned. So, what's next? Trump says he's looking into it. Ed Martin's review is already underway. Supporters are lobbying hard. Social media is ablaze. Protests are planned. And the families of the convicted wait, some in hope, others in fear. This moment is not just about a legal decision. It's a referendum on where the country stands. On truth. On justice. On the rule of law. Trump's choice will send a message, not just to those behind bars, but to anyone considering political violence in the future. One thing is clear, the debate over the Michigan kidnapping plot isn't over. It's just beginning a new chapter, one that could redefine the boundaries of presidential pardon power and the very definition of justice in America.